the most stressful moment of Together?
I mean, it's the physicality of the movie, you know.
You don't have to say it to me like I'm an idiot.
You seem very flummoxed by this one.
It was a stress on our bodies,
That's
but
what
it was
I'm saying.
Fun to perform the physicality
This
as
isn't
well.
the fun test. This is the stress test.
All right, baby. All right, babe.
Hey, I'm Dave Franco.
And I'm Alison Brie.
And sometimes crazy things happen on set that can be very stressful.
And we're here to share some of those stories. This is our stress test.
Why was Neighbors stressful for me? You know what? During the De Niro scene, I remember leading up to that scene, I was like, ooh, I would really like to do an impression if I could. I was like in the mirror pushing my face around to try to get the De Niro thing going. And like the day before, I finally got it. And
I was
it
gonna
like,
say, you just didn't know you had it? You had it, it's so
now
good.
I got it. Now it's just muscle memory. To talking to me? I don't see anyone else. Must be talking to me. I'm watching you, Faka. I'm watching you. While doing that scene and holding that face, I remember they did Seth's side first. And I wanted to be a good partner in the scene, so I was giving him the face.
Wow, the whole time.
Yes.
Wow.
And then they finally turned around on us, and I just couldn't hold it for the whole time. That's one of the scenes that gets brought up to me more often than almost anything.
Wow.
People really love the Robert De Niro scene.
But De Niro himself has never mentioned it?
No, and I met him after the fact, and it definitely, I was not gonna bring it up. He also did not bring it up.
You didn't do De Niro to De Niro?
I thought about it.
Glow. I mean, would I even say it was very stressful? We really learned how to wrestle for the show. We did 90% of our own stunts on the show. So there was a move that Betty Gilpin and I did a ton called the sunset flip, which involves one girl bending over forward, like this is her head. She bends over like this. The other girl runs up and dives head first all the way, head between her legs, flips that girl onto the ground. So there was one time in rehearsal where we mistimed it, and I think Betty was saying, wait, let's pause. I'm running at her, her head comes up and nails me in the crotch. And I have to say, it's very painful for women as well.
Okay, for Now You See Me, the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, we're playing the world's greatest magicians, and we didn't want to rely fully on CGI. We wanted to actually be able to like do some of the tricks and have like good hand dexterity. And so I took it upon myself to learn how to throw cards really well. And so this was me in my apartment in New Orleans with stacks of playing cards, just throwing them against the wall until my arm went dead. But I got so good at throwing cards that I can chop bananas in half now. This is something that people are like, do you do that at parties? And I'm like, no, I'm not the guy first off who's carrying a deck of cards that is like, hey, anyone got a banana? But in addition to learning how to throw cards, it was very stressful for me as like kind of the newcomer at that point in my career. Like I hadn't done very much, and everyone else in the cast were like huge stars. It's like Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, Morgan Freeman, Isla Fisher, Jesse Eisenberg, and I came on set and I was just like, you know, hey guys, I'm the one who throws cards. And so I remember there was just like this learning curve for me where I was like, I want to be respectful of them, but like, I want to be part of the group and whatnot. And luckily enough, like everyone was so welcoming, and I can now like call all of them very, very close friends. We stayed at Woody Harrelson's place in Hawaii with these giant spiders in our room and giant centipedes walking across my pillow. But I love it because I can call him a friend now.
Mad Men was one of my first jobs ever in TV or film. You know, the show takes place in the 60s and we wore all 1960s appropriate undergarments in our clothes. And there was a day where I was waiting around, and then of course it was like, they need you on set right now, and they're racing me to set, but I really had to pee. And I ran into the bathroom, and I kind of pulled up my skirt, and I just started peeing, but I had this 1960s girdle on that's like bike shorts up to under your boobs. I just like peed in my girdle. It was so gross, but I was so embarrassed and stressed and didn't want to be late to set that I sort of just dried off, cleaned up, washed my hands, went to set and shot for like a couple hours. I had big skirts on over it, and at one point the costume designer, Janie Bryant, who was the best, came up to me and she was like, "You're being weird, what's going on?" And I was like, "I peed my girdle." And she was like, "It happens all the time."
Okay, with 21 Jump Streets, the hardest part of that was actually before we started filming. It was the audition process. I went in for that movie probably 6 or 7 times, and 2 of those times, those auditions were like round table reads, like in front of the studio where I was still trying to prove myself. Everyone else at the table read had already gotten their roles. And I'm still there like, okay, I don't know, should I be doing something differently? This is, I don't know what else they want from me. And then I remember at the end of that whole audition process, this Funny or Die video that I made called You're So Hot, where me and my best friend Chris Mintz-Plasse basically tell each other in vivid detail how much we want to perform sexual acts on one another. And
as you do with your best friend.
Sure. And this silly Funny or Die video actually helped me get the role. The directors told me after the fact that they had seen that video and they're like, "We understood that you had like a grasp on comedy based on this like really kind of crazy videos. So tell all your best friends how much you want to have sex with them."
I was gonna say make your own videos, but both good takeaways.
I think the most stressful moment about Superbad was after the movie came out.
I was thinking that too.
I actually didn't even tell my friends that I was in this movie because I just figured like they're probably gonna cut me out. I don't want to like embarrass myself to be like, everyone go see this movie, and then I'm not in it. The movie ended up being so popular that people really remembered my part, and what my part was is Jonah Hill telling me to go piss myself. It all comes back to piss.
All roads lead to pee.
And so I would be walking down the street after the movie came out, and people would yell at me, "Why don't you go piss yourself again?" And I quickly realized, like, oh, I need to keep working. I need more acting jobs so I'm not just piss boy for the rest of my life.
Although that is a nice nickname that we use at
Dave,
home for
Piss
Dave.
Boy Franco.
Piss boy. The most stressful moment of Together.
I mean, it's the physicality of the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't have to say it to me like I'm an idiot.
You seemed very flummoxed by this one.
I just thought, was it
seemed like an obvious
physically
one.
it was stressful. It was a stress on our bodies,
That's
but
what
it was
I'm saying.
fun to perform the physicality
This
as
isn't
well.
the fun test. This is the stress test.
All right, baby. All right, babe. I thought of one that I think was genuinely maybe the most stressful day.
Okay.
You know, we were producers on this film as well, so we're acting and we're doing the physical stuff, but also between takes, there would be like producerial things that we were dealing with, and there was a day on set where we learned that we might lose one of our locations for the last night of shooting.
Yeah.
And we had one scene left to shoot, and it was Dave at the train station having a panic attack.
I literally had one take to get this very emotional panic attack scene. So knowing that I only had one take and also dealing with losing this other location just kind of infused me with the right amount of panic to do the scene. So I guess there was a positive that came out of it. The last thing I'll say about Together, there was one day where the two of us are literally attached to each other with a prosthetic for about 10 hours. So we were both trying to not drink water so we could avoid bathroom trips, but inevitably one of us would have to go and we would drag the other one with us. And I remember there was a moment where she was peeing, and
all the stories,
it's
all
all she
roads
does.
lead
It's
to
all
me
she does.
peeing. It is very true.
And I was standing over her, attached to her, and thinking we could not have made this movie with anyone else. Handed her some toilet paper and we went back to work.
Yeah.
So those are our stories.
Keep calm.